We're an international. Our fans are mainly from Europe and Africa and Asia, and we always like to start from the beginning, just to get a picture as to where you guys are from. And I know where you guys are from, but just for those who might know the name but not really know where you guys are from, where are you guys born and raised?
Houston, Texas.
Houston, Texas. Okay.
Yeah.
And H-Town. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for a lot of us, I think I remember when you guys came out around 92, 93. And
Yeah.
back then, I think a lot of us who I went to college in Alabama, so I was very familiar with Luke and Two Live Crew. But
Okay.
that was the connection that we had from you guys in the early days. But it would be great just to find out how you guys started in music, just singing in general, and then we can just sort of work from there.
Basically, it started in my household. My uncles. My uncle was in a band. I had a few uncles and come from a musical background. My uncles were musicians and playing drums, bass, singers, guitar players. So it just started for me, just to watching my uncles, and my grandmother was a gospel singer. She sang, and my dad had a few vocals. So it just kind of like just the influence came from my family. It just comes from that musical background and my family.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, my family is like I think I'm the first done of as far as singing wise professionally. We had a lot of my family was more into sports, so I think I was like one of the first breed to really kick off the music side of the generation.
Yeah, but when you think about that, as I said, I went to college, and even I'm born in England, but I went to college in Alabama, and so I know that sports was very big in the States: football, basketball, baseball, and stuff.
Exactly.
When it came to singing, because even though you both mentioned that your families had singing, especially Shazam, where did you guys was the want to sing as opposed to playing football sports? What brought you to say, let me start singing as opposed to let me play basketball and stuff?
Well, like I said, it started right there with our families, but it was groups like New Edition,
okay,
The Boys out.
Yeah,
kind of The Boys, and I'm gonna say New Edition was one of the first groups that we really looked and admired, and was like, oh, we could do that, and then and The Boys was more like a group to and I thought it was over, like couldn't nobody make it as a kid. And then one day I've seen The Boys, and I told my brother Dino, we can make it. They got some guys that are around our age, and they blew up. And that one made me start back singing when I seen The Boys, and then High Five had came out. I was like, oh, okay, hold on, we can make it as teenagers. We was very young when we made it. We was teenagers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Shazam and Dino are twin brothers, but then how did you know GI?
Well, we all grew up in the same project called the Fourth Missionary Project in Houston. So we've lived in the same neighborhood, same projects for over since we was like maybe 8 years old.
Yeah, 8, 9, yep.
8, 9. So we've been knowing each other by playing street football and stuff like that. And we both was into music. It's just that I was into the music with my little crew, and they had their own little crew. So we ended up going to a talent show. And that's how we got merged together as one group.
Okay.
But we didn't go to audition, to like
audition.
Audition.
Okay.
I was looking for a group.
Yeah. Oh, somebody was looking for a group, and you came with 2 different groups, and he decided to put you guys together?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. But then you only knew GI when you guys came. Was it easy to make that? Or was it just yourself and Dino? Or?
Well, the thing about it, me and Dino, we actually went there as a group, we went there, and we had another guy in our group, but the guy had went to jail over selling drugs in the England. GI kind of was there just, GI was doing a lot of rapping at the time. He came there to audition. The guy was like, well, I'm not looking for a duo. and I'm not looking for a rapper. So, you know, he was like, well, in order for us this to really work, you know, y'all need to find a third member. So our third member was more like, you know, had went to jail. So we were like, well, what about G.I.? You know, TLC had blew up then, and Left Eye was the rapper. So we was like, well, maybe G.I. could be more like the rapper of the group. But then G.I. was like, nah, I can sing too. So then we harmonized and go, oh, okay, the harmony is good. So then that's how we kind of formed. Because the guy was more like, I'm not looking for a duet and I'm not looking for a rapper. I'm looking for a group. And at the time, the Boys and High Five was like the hottest male young teenager groups at the time. So duets was not in, and then a rapper was not in at that time. So that's how we kind of joined it together like that.
Okay. And so I didn't realize that it was somebody that was trying to put you guys together. Was he serving as a manager as well, or label, or what was the deal?
Label, record label.
Yeah, more of a label.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And at that point in time, so G.I., were you as infused about having a career in music as Dino and Shazam were? I mean, they were looking at New Edition and the Boys and thinking we can do it. But did you think that okay, I can have a career in music as well?
Yeah, I mean, I knew that's what I wanted to be in music. But in what general, it didn't matter to me as long as it was music. You know, rap, DJing, singing, writing. You know, I came in as a rapper and singing and writing. So you know, I did everything. So what I made it at was singing.
Okay. Now I think,
and then we also looked at a lot of old heads. You know, Teddy Pendergrass, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Michael Jackson, Prince. So we know those are some of our mentors that we looked at. You know what I'm saying? The Boys is more of like a group that we were like, oh, kids can still make it. We thought, and we had got to the point, I don't think kids can make it since the Jackson 5. You know what I'm saying? Or since Jackson 5 or New Edition. So then when they came along, it gave us hope that a kid or a teenager still can make it in this industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
I spoke to Marcus from High Five a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about their journey as kids, how talented Tony was and stuff. But for you guys coming from Texas, I mean, we had was a rapper lot. I can't remember the name of the group now. Scarface and
Ghetto
Boys, yeah. So, but from R&B though, apart from High Five, was there any other R&B group coming out of Texas? That's
at that time, no.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
not at that time, no. We the first R&B group to come out of Houston.
Out of Houston, Texas, and then High Five is the first group to come out of Waco, Texas.
Yeah.
Then there was another group back then. They didn't get as successful as us, but it was a group called Neutrons, and we used to look at them and we say, "Oh, those guys, kids can make." So it's like we seen those guys, all those groups make it as being teenagers. It inspired us. I don't know if you ever heard of the Neutrons, but there's a group called the Neutrons, and they had a mini hit out there. We looked at them, but the Boys. It was one of the main ones that influenced us. Oh, because they were real young. They looked real young. You know
they were.
Yeah.
But then the influence, because the Boys were very much, they had LA and Babyface doing a lot of their music and that type of, Bobby Brown, Karen White, that type of beat. The music that you guys, how did you guys then decide the sound that you guys were going to adapt? Was it the label guy that was managing that, or did you guys have a sense of the direction you wanted?
Well, we always studied that a lot of groups that was teen groups that they had it's hard to transition from a teen group to become an adult. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the Boys was kind of experiencing that. We watched them go through that. So, we actually didn't really get a record deal until we was like 16, 17. Yeah. So we was like, well, man, we almost about 8. We were about to be 18. So I don't think we should come out singing Kitty, because that's just, even though we was 16, 17, but we was like, we seen the transition, how the Boys was kind of coming down. They was 13 years old, and people were saying, oh, they old now. They trying to sing adult music, and it was just like, you know, you still doing this key stuff. So we decided, look, man, let's just come out the gate singing like adults. And so that's why all our titles came out, you know, Knockin' the Boots, Lick You Up and Down. And then when we hooked up with Luke, that's what Luke made Luke sign us. Luke, like, they some baby Lukes. So it's like we kind of looked at the other groups, went through even High Five went through that team thing. Like while those groups was coming down, we was starting to come up. But we looked at it and said, okay, they having a hard time switching from teens to adults. Like, look, man, instead of just saying we teenagers, let's just come out like out the gate as grown men, you know. So by the time we got there, Knockin' the Boots was out. We was all about 18 years old. Yeah. So we really considered legal at the time.
Yeah, and as I said, when I think of H-Town, I didn't see kids. You know, because of
you didn't see
you didn't see kids. You just, especially the songs that you're coming up with. Now, when I was doing some research, it says that you guys came out with an album before you met Luke. You recorded an album and locally. How what was that process like? I mean, did you guys get involved in the writing? How would it sound, or pretty much was somebody doing it and you guys were just singing?
Mostly of the writing and the singing part. I mean, the producer was the guy that we met at the showcase. One of looking for a group. He was doing a lot of producing. But our sound changed. Our sound changed when we met our other producer. Was a friend of theirs named Stick, and that's how we came up with the growing sexy sound that you've been hearing as H-Town. Yeah.
No, I was going to say it also mentioned, you know, this is the message out there that G.I. was the lead singer before somebody else changed it to Dino. Was that the case when you guys started?
No, they had me. I was the lead singer. It was me, the lead singer. And then they changed it to Dino, because, you know, I had the kind of like the Michael Jackson rap treasuring voice, and that kind of was in at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they was gonna make me the lead singer because the sound was Ralph in the Jackson 5 boy at the time. But then as we got a little older, when we got a little older, and even with the boys, they had the little chipmunk voices. I had one of those little chipmunk voices. But when Aaron Hall, Guy, and Johnny Gill, New Edition came back with Johnny Gill, it changed the tone, the sound to a more of a heavier, raspy tone. And by that time we got there, Dino had more of that tone, you know what I'm saying? We both kind of had it, but it was like we don't both need to sound like, but he was better at it. So I kind of played the role as with the sweet sound, and then Dino kind of took the role as with the heavier tone, and then G.I. came in with both the harmonies and the, you know, sweet sound. So we just combined it all together. And you know, and then I took the high note and started hitting high notes on records like the Temptations and all them boys back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, because you know your brothers, and then you've known each other since you were 8. When they switched the lead roles, was it hard? You know, because I said the industry it's you know, that fame and that who's in the front. Was it hard to accept that Dino was?
It didn't bother us because we had the mentality, when you hungry like that, we want to do what's best. So you know, I had the mentality to, well, you know, let's do what's best. That, you know, at the time the sound had changed, and he had the more of what the sound of today when it changed to the more the Aaron Hall type voices and the Johnny Gill type voices, R. Kelly type voices. So what I did was I introduced other parts of my voice, like the high my falsetto and hitting high soprano notes in my falsetto and stuff like that. And G.I. kind of had more with the smooth harmony voice, put the icing on the harmonies and the backs, and then and sing some type of leads too on some of the songs. So we just kind of like, it's like everybody was in their lane. We were really, and then we had our own dance style. You know what I'm saying? So we were just like, you know, we was like, hey man, whatever gonna get this deal and us to make it, that's how we was. So we all supported each other on that.
You know, the thing that I normally wait to the end, but I'll start off early because everyone I talk to, from, you know, cut close 112. It doesn't matter who it is. I always say, as you know, you guys you're chasing the deal, but did you understand the deal and the industry and the business and know what you're signing yourselves up to in those very early days?
See, I think we kind of knew what it was, but not 100%. But we had good people that got us and read the contracts for us, so we kind of really just accepted a few things just to get in the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we'll accept the standard contract like anybody else. You're not gonna if they would have told Luke gave us $25,000 up front. If Luke would have told us he was gonna give us $0 up front, we probably took it at that time. We 16, 17 years old, we just like trying to make it. So, but by the time we got to the second album, we were smarter and we renegotiated our contract. And then every deal after that, we made sure we did good deals. But we signed the standard contract like everybody else, man. And everybody that get caught in those deals, whether you knew the business or not, if you got a loop through camera with one of the biggest independent record labels in the label, you're gonna say no to it. So we just did whatever we had to do to get in the game. So we pretty much knew we probably wasn't gonna get the best deal. They kind of say, quote unquote, it was the standard deal we got. But once we got success and our contract was up, we renegotiated and said, now we got to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. And you're probably one of the first groups that I've spoken to who have said, we knew that the deal wasn't great, but we knew about renegotiating when we had the opportunity. Most groups were just going with the flow until they realized where's all our money and stuff. But at least you had an idea of what you're doing.
And then we also felt like, they taking a chance on us too. They putting up all the money. What do we have to lose? If it go bad, they'll be the one to lose. So we also knew like, man, let's just get the deal done. And once we get success, because we didn't know if we was gonna sell 1 million records. We didn't know we was gonna sell 1 record.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And so, in the 90s, there was a lot of competition, so it's not easy to do it.
Yeah.
What is it that Luke saw in you guys in that early days to take it? As I said, Luke was, we knew him with his 2 Live crew. We knew him, he took on the government and took on everyone regarded with his, censorship and everything. I mean, he was a pioneer back in those early days, and having his own label, it was not an easy thing. I mean, as much as people might talk about business dealings and stuff, I mean, he was a trendsetter in those late 80s, early 90s. What did he see in you guys that he says, I'm coming from Miami and I'm seeing these guys out in Houston?
He loved our sound, and he couldn't believe that we were singing songs like Knockin' the Boots and Lick You Up. See, we wrote all our songs. We had those songs before we even got signed to Luke.
Okay,
so he said they like baby loops. They like baby loops. No group was singing R&B like the way we were singing. Our first 2 singles was called Knockin' the Boots and Lick You Up. So he was like, whoa, they some baby loops. So he kind of tracked them, and then we had songs like Sex Boy. We wrote and co-produced all our music, you know what I'm saying? All our songs. We wrote, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what attracted them to us, that we had an edge, you know what I'm saying? We had an edge as teenagers. So he was like, whoa, okay. So that's why we kind of, the stuff that we were singing, that's why Luke kind of waited till we turned 18 for it to come out, because we was like, we came out in 92 with him, but we were still underage a little bit, like 16, 17. So he like, by the time we got 18, then bam, we was able to drop the Knockin' the Boots, to Lick You Up, all that stuff out there. So we was basically still teenagers, but we was more like, okay, that's why we never presented ourselves as teenagers, because we were teenagers, but we were basically legal teenagers at that time, 18 years old.
Grown and sexy.
Young and sexy. We were young and sexy.
Because at that time, if I'm thinking about it, the way the music was, there was very few groups that were, because R. Kelly later on with his 12 play started to go down that route later on. You think of Jodeci in this 3rd album.
Well, Knockin' the Boots, when he dropped Knockin' the Boots, it changed the whole industry. It put groups like Troop out of business, because they were singing Spread My Wings,
Yeah, yeah.
Fly Away. Jodeci was singing Baby Won't You Just Stay, Forever My Lady. Nobody was using the titles he was using. So when
Yeah.
Knockin' the Boots came out, it changed the game so much, it made
Yeah.
R. Kelly come with a slang. That's when you
Yeah.
get bump and grind. Knockin' the Boots is a slang. And bump and grind is like R. Kelly said himself, whoa, I gotta start coming with slang. That's why he started coming with the 12 plays and the bump and grind. So Knockin' the Boots, when it dropped, it kind of changed the sound and what people was talking about at that time.
Yeah. Okay. The yeah, and you know, people, it is true because, as I said, I've spoken to John from Troop and even New Edition. The kind of innocent sounds sort of changed after that. After your records came out, as I said, a lot of the way we were listening to music. Then R. Kelly, as I said, took a lot of that as well. But what made you guys choose that direction? I mean, because I know you didn't want to be singing teenage songs, but to go go all the way to that type of, you know, knocking the boots and Nick Yard stuff like that. That's, you know, doing a Luke Campbell in R&B. I mean, what made you guys think that's the lane we want to take?
Well, mainly because there was nobody else doing it. You know, you had High Five was more of a clean cut at Kiss. Their biggest song was called Kissing Game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They Kissing Game. You know, it's more like Teen the Boys, you know, My Lucky Charm, Dial My Heart.
Yeah.
Even New Edition records was more like, you know what I'm saying? And Jodeci was, you know, at the time, they two biggest records was Baby Won't You Just Stay and Forever My Lady. You know, and Come and Talk, there was nothing. So we was like, you know, this is a lane that's open. Somebody just come straight to it, you know, but do it tastefully and subliminally. Like, you know, Knockin' the Boots, you know, what is Knockin' the Boots? You know, that's why we tried to come up with a slang and want to build a group, you know, like our second album is all slow jams, you know, baby making music. So, you know, and you had Keith Sweat before us. He was a beggar. He begged a lot. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of studied the audience around us and say, no, this lane is open for us just to go, let's just go in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You Knockin' the Boots, #1 album song on the R&B charts, #3 on Billboard 100. I mean, that's, you know, to get on the Billboard 100, you know, top 40 is big, but to get to the top 3, you know, with you know, and we had so much happening. Were you surprised by that success with your first single blowing up like that?
We most definitely were not expecting it. You know what I'm saying? We weren't expecting it to blow up that fast. That song blew up like within like maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we wasn't expecting it to blow up that fast. So it basically just took off on its own. You know?
Yeah, we wasn't expecting it. It's like it blew up so fast we didn't believe we were celebrities or stars. We would just be like, we're walking the mall with no security, and all of a sudden get trampled or stuck in the mall because everybody chasing us. And it just blew up so fast that we didn't believe ourselves that we were celebrities. What actually made us believe that we was really celebrities and we had made it is when we did our first show in London. And I was like, wow, people know my name over here. H-Town, Shazam, Dino. Like, well, they know us in London? Like what? So that's what made me. And then I got, at that time, I remember we could even walk down the street in London. I thought, like, yeah, whatever. I think I remember going to Kentucky in London somewhere and got chased out. They had to round, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, whoa, okay, now, it's one thing to be saying you big in the United States of America, but now if you big in England, you big in other countries, hold on, we don't really made it.
Yeah.
So that's when it really dawned on us.
Wow. Did you guys have to move then from your neighborhood when the album single blew up like that?
Most definitely, because it blew up so
Most
fast.
definitely.
We was actually still living in the projects. Our mothers were still in the fourth missionary of the projects. Yeah.
Wow. So who houses you then? What do you do? Do you move to Miami with Luke, or what do you guys do?
Man, we had to hurry up and buy houses before we got off a tour. Because we wouldn't have had nowhere to go. So we told Luke at the time, you know, man, you know, once this tour, we're going to go back to the mission. We didn't have nowhere to go, and our parents are still out there. So Luke had a mortgage company at the time, and he bought the houses. And when we got off the road, we was able to come to these houses because at first we didn't have a permanent resident. We were living in the projects. You know what I'm saying? That's how fast it happened.
Wow. I mean, as I said, how what can you say about Luke? I mean, he took a chance on you guys when you were young, but
Yeah.
how he handled you guys and helped with the early career. What would you say about Luke Campbell?
He's great. I feel like he's a great businessman. You know, he had a great team behind us, great promotional team, street team, radio team. You know what I'm saying? The whole nine. He really put he really went 100% got behind us. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, yeah,
most definitely, he made a lot of money too.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But we was all as we got older and become men now. Luke always would have a special place in H Town Hall because he the one gave us our start, and
Yeah.
yeah,
and we feel like we feel like that the career that hold on
Oh yeah, back, yeah.
my phone wrong. We feel like that the success that Luke helped us get, we're
Yeah.
able to live off that success to this day. We're still touring and performing all
yeah,
over the world off those songs.
Yeah.
So we're very grateful for Luke for taking a chance on us.
Did you guys learn the business as well though from him? I mean, would you guys, because a lot of groups sometimes are so focused on the fame and celebrity that they don't take the opportunity to learn business stuff from in those early
yeah.
days. Were you able
We
to
was
learn?
always at the Yeah, we was always at the office at Luke Records and around his whole staff and watching how they worked and how they
Yeah,
presented us to different radio stations. You know, doing a lot of radio interviews, a lot of a lot of store in-house, store autograph sessions and stuff like that. We
Yeah.
learned a whole lot, but you know what I'm saying. As far as the contracts and stuff like that, we had a great attorney that taught us a whole lot about contracts. So
Yeah.
you know, we really good on the business side now.
Okay. No,
yeah.
that's really good. What about the name though? Because you guys weren't always Hatestown. Was it the Gents?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it used to be the Jets, yeah.
Okay.
That was the first name.
Okay. And but whose idea was it to go Hatestown?
Well,
It's
Luke did not
personal.
like, yeah, Luke did not like the name Gent, so he's like, man, won't y'all just rep y'all city, H-Town? I was like, yeah, we like it. Because we always want to do something to put our city on the map. So he's like, won't you just rep your city, H-Town? And that was we did.
Wow. And the image.
And that we the reason why they called the city H-Town. They wouldn't even really call the city H-Town until we came out. Yeah.
So even
Yeah.
back then, cause I'm so that's it. Like Houston is known as H-Town right now because as for you guys,
Because of
Yeah,
us. Because of us. Yes.
definitely.
have they given you guys the key to the city of Houston?
Well, the mayor recently, I
We
think
got a day.
2000, he gave us a date in Houston.
Oh,
Yes, he gave us a day.
but since then
Yeah.
though, I mean, because come on, as I said, we didn't know. I mean, apart from it used to be the Houston Oilers or so with Warren Moon, but there was most people aren't really talking of Houston as with the Rockets. But as I said, you
Yeah,
guys really did put the city on the map because of how
Yeah,
big the whole thing was. So it's good
yeah,
most
that
yeah.
definitely.
yeah. Now the image too, because I always remember you guys with dungarees, shirts off and everything.
Yeah.
Whose idea was the styling and the imagery and stuff?
That was all of us. That was all us. We
Yeah,
all kind of put our minds together and came up with those styles. We want to be like sexy hardcore, but sexy at the same time. With a swag and a rough edge and a soft, smooth edge too. So we kind of just combine all our personalities together
Yeah,
in our
yeah,
dressing and the way we do things. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. The the first album comes out, and then a year and a half later, you're back with a second album, and that's quite rare because most people go on tour and try and milk it. Whose idea was it? Look, let's get you guys back in the studio and capitalize on the success of the first album as soon as possible.
More than likely, Luke was like, I think that's when Luke was going through a transition of switching distributors and they didn't want anything but they really the distributor was not willing to sign his label unless they can get an H-Town album. So he was trying to get the Two Live Crew thing, but they were like, no, we're gonna do this deal with you. We want the H-Town album. So it's kind of like it's summoned us to have to go back in the studio to get that to get him to get that deal because that's who they really wanted. They signed his label to basically because they figure, oh, we get Loot Records, we got H-Town.
Okay. I mean, yeah, because you guys, I mean, you won Soul Train, I believe, for the best new group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, how was, I mean, being on that, I mean, Soul Train Awards are not the same as it is now. I mean, it's almost pretty much they hand pick who they want to give it to. But back in those days, I mean, you had some serious competition to go up against. What was it like, winning that? Because it's easy, you look at Soul Train because there were so many R&B groups in the 90s that to win best R&B group or best single, it's like you have to be the best of the best because it was so much competition from 90s stuff. What was it? I mean, how proud was it to win to win that?
Well, to me, Soul Train was like our Grammys,
Yeah.
so that was the Grammy. That was the Grammys to our Soul Train. So winning that was like based on honor. We wasn't expecting to win, but it was very well accepted, well received, and we were surprised. We was excited. You know what I'm saying? That was like one of the best years of our career.
Yeah, and then soon after you guys featured on, we talk a lot about soundtracks, how big soundtracks were in the 90s. And one of the first ones was I think Above the Rim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Part-Time Lover, which was a big track. You guys came out with Part-Time Lover. Was that your first time meeting Devontae from Jodeci and working with him?
Go ahead.
No. We Cause we actually signed for Devontae before we even made it.
Oh, you kidding me?
Devontae actually had a chance to sign us, but he ended up not signing us, you know what I'm saying? So he actually had a chance to sign us, but he ended up not signing us. So we had met him, actually first meeting him at the Jack the Rapper downtown trying to sing for him.
Wow.
ATL Atlanta. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how did the opportunity, because I was just telling GI about how the 90s, we had soundtracks which were iconic soundtracks, and Above the Rim was a big one because SWV had anything and the film was big. Then you guys had Part-Time Lover on it with Devontae. How did that opportunity come out to team up with Devontae for that track? Because that was also a top 10 R&B hit as well.
Well, we're Devontae his favorite group, you know what I'm saying? That's why we even actually worked with Devontae on in the 2000s on a song called Knockin' the Heels.
Yeah, I saw that with Pretty Ricky.
Yeah. So Devontae mainly is like, we like his favorite group. So he's like, that's how it came about. Like, hey, he wrote that song tailor-made for H-Town, you know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Actually, Jodeci said, man, I wish we could have done it, but he gave that. He got that for us, most definitely.
Yeah, I don't know if Jodeci would have. I mean, Casey can sing anything, but I don't think it fit their style.
Yeah, he tailor-made it for us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, I interviewed Dalvin just a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about how the groups and the relationships with different groups. But I was wondering about your second album, Begging After Dark. It wasn't as it was successful, but didn't have the big hits as Emotions was big, but not as big as Knockin' the Boots. Was there pressure with the second album, recording it and promoting it?
Well, I mean, the issues were in house. You know what I'm saying? Like the things that he had in place for us with Knockin' the Boots and Lick You Up from the first album, those people were not in position anymore. So his team was like the team that he had on the second album was a totally different team than we had on the first album. So it wasn't family to us. They didn't really know
how to
push H-Town. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I've heard a lot from different artists when the street teams and when everything changes, the radios know how to make the calls to the radios.
Exactly.
Okay. But was that tough for you guys to see it not being as successful as the first album?
I mean, it still went
Well,
platinum though. It still
yeah,
went platinum. So
it still
yeah,
sold a lot. It's just that
yeah, took a while.
and then Luke Label was going through some transitions at that time too. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
with the distributor he was working with, so it was like the label was going through some problems at that time. We kind of got caught in that. You know what I'm saying? So but it still actually sold a lot, like went over like 800,000, like over basically almost platinum, basically platinum. But it's
Yeah,
just that we didn't get a chance to get as many songs off of it as it did. Emotions was one, I think the biggest song we dropped off there, and was a pretty big hit for H-Town, and it kind of
yeah,
kept us out there. Then we had other soundtracks and stuff along
yeah.
with that to keep our name alive. Like Thin Line Between Love and Hate was a big record for us on the
yeah,
soundtrack. So
yeah. So I wanted to talk about that now. I'm a big, massive Teddy Riley fan, but all of us who follow Teddy will always know Roger as the sort of the godfather with that, with the talk box and stuff. And as I said, back in the 90s, we had so many black films. I mean, you start wondering
Mhm.
what's going on. So anything that came out, so Martin Lawrence writes and directs Thin Line Between Love and Hate. We all watched it. Um, and it was a real nice solid album that Roger put together. But man, the song that you guys did with him and Shirley Murdoch, it is a classic that's still to today. If you play it, it still feels
Yeah,
current and stuff.
yeah.
I mean, I wanted to get to what it was like working with Roger, because as I said, he went too soon. Um, but what was it like? Teaming up. Did you guys know about Roger and Zapp, and when you had the chance to work with him?
Well, it was our idea to bring Roger in
Okay.
on the track. You know what I'm saying? So basically, Martin hit us up and was like, "We want y'all to do this the theme song for this movie."
Oh,
So
Martin
initially,
directly called,
yeah,
got in
his
touch with you guys.
his people,
Okay. Yeah, but yes,
his
people.
people. But,
Okay.
but we met Martin a long time. We went on the set, Martin set. You know what I'm saying? That's when we met him. So we basically all still kept in touch. So he came after us. They hit us up and said, "We say the only way we do this track is y'all let Roger produce it." So we brought in
Yeah,
Roger. We brought in Roger. Roger brought in Shirley Murdoch. So
that's it.
yeah,
Wow. So you
yeah,
see,
that was
you were
yeah.
saying that when I was away for Shazam, you said that you guys said you'd do the track if Roger can be on it.
Yes, if he can produce the track, you know what I'm saying? We wanted Roger to produce it. Because that was
Well,
it was somewhat of a classic that we was kind of like, should we touch this? Should we touch this or not? You know what I'm saying? Because we did not know the words to the song. So as we recorded the song, we learned the word line for line. We listen to one line and go and record that line, and go back vice versa. Listen to another line, and go and record that line. So we never knew the song. So
oh,
as we was learning the song as we were recording the song.
you were learning the song as you're recording it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
hadn't heard it before.
Vaguely loosely through our parents, but we really wasn't in tune to it that much, to know it word by word, word for word, you know.
Did you know when you finished recording it with the production stuff that it was going to be another hit, another sort of timeless hit?
Timeless, not really, but we know when he surprised us by putting shirt and Murdoch on, we know it's okay. This is about to go somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was my favorite song on the album, and actually, because it was the title for the film, it did help the film
Right,
really. People watch the film because you're singing the
right.
title of
Yeah,
that.
yeah. And
Yeah.
initially, it was just supposed to be just a theme song, but once we heard the song and that we had Shirley Murdoch on there as well, and Roger Troutman, he said, "Man, we gotta do a video on this one."
Oh, it wasn't
You know
going
what
to
I'm
get a
saying?
video release and everything.
They wasn't gonna get a video at first. It was just gonna be the theme song.
Wow. As I said, it's still, as I said, still one of my favorite tracks right now. Um, Now, I guess when you think about the hits and the songs you guys have come out with, what would you say I mean, and I don't know if you both have the same answer, but I can start with you, Shazam. What would be your favorite track, H-Town track that you guys have released?
Oh, but one of my favorites is Emotions.
Okay.
Yeah. I would be like One Night Gigolo, most definitely One Night Gigolo.
Okay.
And
I mean,
of course Rain. Of course Rain, that's another favorite too.
okay.
Yeah.
Both favorite. I mean, most people would have thought your most popular ones, but why? Okay, I can start with you, Shazam. Why would Emotions be your favorite?
Oh, because man, it's like a song that I think it really connected with the public. Like, it bring it. Sometimes when I sing that song or we sing it, it actually connected to the audience. Like, just the way it was just put together. It's arranged with it well. It's produced with it well. It's wrote with it well.
Yeah.
It just showed. It's the song that kind of showed another side of H-Town outside of everything being sex.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So it showed
Okay.
another side of H-Town and it showed our growth. So that's why it became one of my favorite songs.
Okay.
Yeah. I think every album that we did thus far, we've grown on each album. Each album we brought something different to the table. You know what I'm saying? Something, like with Ladies Edition, we brought the spousal abuse awareness, with women and stuff like that. So we always wanted to try to switch it up every now and then. We give the sexy side, we give the sensitive side, and then of course we've always been about the women. We always been about the women from day one. So why not just that subject?
Yeah, but with Ladies Edition, I wanted to ask about that because it's a change from.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not as if you've been talking. You weren't doing any gin and juice and stuff. So you weren't talking about treating women badly, but you were just talking more about sex and things. But Ladies Edition, there was more of a social awareness, which for an R&B male group, it's quite rare just to go from knocking boots, singing about just having fun to focus
yeah.
on that. How did you guys? Was it a collective decision, and whose idea was it? And like, let's focus on things and that.
Go ahead,
Well,
Zach.
we was at the time, we had just got a little bit older. And we some guys, we like to grow. We got, our first two albums was mainly just a lot of sex. So, we just decided maybe we want to try to show a more of a different approach. And the Code System had just died of spousal abuse and stuff like that. And so he was just like, we want to do something different, bring we don't want to be known. All our songs is about sex. All our albums is about sex. So we
Yeah,
wanted to do something different because we was getting older and we had experienced life a little bit more. So we want to experience, more different types of music, you know what I'm saying? So that's why we decided to come with an album. Hey, nobody never stand up for the ladies. Let's be the ones to stand up for the ladies. So that's why we did it. It still went back to the ladies why we did it. That's what we call it the ladies edition.
yeah.
Most definitely.
They like it slow. I mean,
Yeah.
and stuff. But but what? Because you sort of went away from because you came out we started off by talking about how the boys New Edition High Five as teenagers and having the transition to adults being challenging. You guys came out with the sort of Baby Lukes, that type of raunchy type of stuff, and people like R. Kelly were still doing that stuff, so it wasn't Jodeci, the Show and After Party became more raunchier than their first album. So it looked as if a lot more of that type of stuff that you guys started off with was still in the market and still making it big, even with intro. How do you think the tone in the music you did in the latest edition affected the sales and how people responded to it?
Well, that album went platinum as well. That album, Latest Edition, went platinum as well. But at the same time, it gave I mean, like I said, in the beginning, we had like a lot of couples coming to our shows. After we dropped Latest Edition, I think about 95% were women coming to our shows versus couples. So it really kind of changed it up for us.
Okay. And
Yeah.
especially now where as artists touring, having a loyal fan base,
Yeah, yeah.
that's the one thing that I guess some groups forget when they're releasing stuff, not realizing 20 years down the road, are we going to have the same fan base continually to support us based on the type of music we were putting out? Um, but as I said,
Hmm.
very brave to do that. You put stuff about domestic abuse and stuff on the album. It's, as I said, it's those type of social conscious records and stuff were mainly done by most like white rock and pop artists were doing stuff like that. It wasn't stuff within R&B. I mean, did you know any other R&B group that had stuff like that going on?
No, not at the time. Not at the time. So that's why we thought, again, we always big on trying to do something new or what the industry not doing. No, we the reason why Beyonce and them, I think, start changing their vote independent women's I'm a survival.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
all came from the ladies edition. We good about we just masters at changing the sounds in the industry, but that all came from the ladies edition. And even Angie Stone came and going back, brother.
yeah, 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 yeah,
So
yeah,
people
yeah.
start kind of going, we had the natural woman and stuff like that. So the album was still doing good. It was doing more good, like just because the fans was just buying it, but we wasn't getting a lot of airplay on radio,
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
Yeah, I mean that's a different story regarding how the industry started to move
To change.
towards
Yeah.
hip hop and the kind of messaging that was coming out, especially after BET got sold to Viacom. They started
Right.
shifting the type of music that they wanted to push. Um,
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
as hip hop became a lot more mainstream, there was no GI didn't go back to start rapping on some hit soundtracks, or what was it? You guys
Nah.
didn't think about that? Or
Uh-uh.
Nah. We just stuck in the zone. We just stuck in the zone as being H Town and being just being like the group that stands out from the others. You know what I'm saying? We never want to be a part of the puzzle that fit inside the puzzle. We always want to stand outside of the puzzle.
yeah. Now,
Yeah.
because after Ladies Edition, you guys, yeah, you guys also. So I remember when the O.J. Simpson verdict came in. But by this time I'd moved to Milwaukee to finish college, and when the verdict came in, um, being in the Midwest, it was we experienced, I won't say racism, overt racism, but it wasn't as, I didn't feel as comfortable as I was when I was in the South in Alabama. I felt a lot more relaxed and chilled being in the Midwest. So when the verdict came in that he had been acquitted, we all, the 10 black kids in Milwaukee, jumped for joy. Um, but in Ladies Edition, you guys did something that was quite unusual because most black folks at the time, things have changed now, were more for OJ and stuff. But you had a dedication for Nicole. Um, did you feel as if that could be a risky thing that you at the time, and what were you thinking about that?
Well, we really didn't just dedicate our album to Nicole. We dedicated our album to all women. That's what we call
Yeah.
it, the ladies edition. And then did a song called Natural Woman, but we named so many powerful black women from Patti LaBelle to Diana Ross to Tina Turner. We named Selena. We named just because we named Nicole, they took the media took that, they dedicate the album to Nicole,
Yeah.
but we would really just dedicate the album to all women. If you listen to Natural Woman, you listen to that song, we name everybody. I mean, even Selena, Aaliyah, Monica, Brandy, everybody in that song.
Okay. Okay. Did
Yeah.
But the fact that the media made it seem as if you were dedicating it to Nicole, how did it have an adverse effect? Was it, or did it help?
It had some effect, you know what I'm saying? But when the fans really heard the album, they like, well, no, they mentioned, they mentioned, we mentioned everybody's name, a lot of the female names in the album that we call it the ladies edition. So,
Mm.
it has some effect, but it just really boiled down, man. The the label we was with wasn't really pushing and promoting the album. They wanted a more of a begging at the dark type album from
Yeah.
H-Town. So that they was more like they want us to go back and give them another album. They really wasn't feeling the album like that. But the album ended up catching on underground, and fans, so many fans this day said, man, that album saved my life. But that album actually sells more today than it did back then.
Wow.
It's bigger now.
Wow. Then what after the album was released and stuff, what was the relationship with the label and stuff? Because 97, 98, I mean, you know, R&B was shifting. I think our hip hop was becoming a little bit more prominent, and producers were becoming a lot more of the, you know, everyone needed Timbaland or the Neptunes or stuff to be on the track. What happened to you guys after that album? Did you and the labels part company
Well, yeah, the label, you know, they really wanted us to go back. They want us to go back in and give them another album. At the time, we didn't really want to do that. We felt that album was a big album. We felt that album was going to be our album that's going to go down because we just felt like it was so different, and we kind of went to a little conflict with the label about we wasn't. They wanted us to go back and do another album. We didn't want to, so we just kind of like got stuck at a standstill with our label.
Oh, now that's very unusual. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, with this distribution company, not label, we were the label, H-Town Music at that time. We had switched from Luke, and once we left Luke, we started our own label, H-Town Music.
Okay, and so you had a distribution deal, and the distributors didn't want to push it.
Exactly.
Mm.
Wow.
They didn't want to push it.
And for you guys, you'd rather, so you didn't want to say, okay, let's go record another album, and that might be a lot more commercially successful. You decided to stick to the.
Yeah, we decided to stick to our guns. We just, that's what we did at the time. We tried to stick to our guns. Because we just felt that album needed to be heard. It was some of our best work. And we just stuck to our guns.
I mean, on reflection, I mean, you guys are older more now. Would you have done anything different if you look back at that situation?
No.
Yeah, probably not. No.
Nah.
Probably done the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So then, when the distributor says, "Well, I'm not going to be pushing it," do you get what's the next step then? What do you guys think about how do we get music out?
Well, we had kind of just went into like, hey, we're going to just take a break for a while. You know what I'm saying? We're going to take a break for a while. We kind of went into doing other things that we all wanted to do. G.I. wanted to doing producing groups, and I did a solo, and then Dino went to doing him a solo. They didn't have a sign as soloist, so we were like, okay, I'm gonna do an album. Dino gonna do an album. G.I.'s gonna drop some of his groups, and we just go kind of doing other things, and then we still would tour from time to time.
Okay, and so was that, you know, because New Edition did the same thing, and a lot of other groups were trying to do it, but they didn't because they were signed as solo artists. It didn't, you know, they weren't able to be as flexible. But did you find those moments, you know, from '98 onwards, as a good chance to get to know yourselves, you know, enjoy the success and take pressure off things?
Most definitely, you know, yeah, most definitely. You know what I'm saying? What's the question again?
No, so the fact that you guys decided to take a break and said, well, you know, we both you and Dino doing solo stuff and G.I. doing his production, did you find that as something that, you know, we started so early, we came out the gates with a big hit, and we've just been touring, making music nonstop. We've not had a chance to relax and live at home and get to know ourselves. Did you see that it was important that you had that time out, or did you think we need to keep going while we're still hot?
No, most definitely. We realized that we need that time, that break. You know, we learned a lot of things about ourselves. You know, we still was young men, still learning ourselves, and so we did need that time. And then it made us also be appreciative of the music business too. That, hey, okay, because you know, when you're not working, the money not coming in like it used to be. So, it's like, they be like, oh, well, maybe we got to get back on. Let's get back to work. You know what I'm saying? So it was like we need the break, but we also learned that, we got to, this is what we do. So we got to keep going to keep the money going. When you stop, the money also stops.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now, I know that, you guys were working. When did you start work on Imitations of Life? I know it came out in 2004, but when
Oh
did
yeah,
you
we was
start
working on that. That's the last album we finished right before my brother passed.
Yeah.
So that's the last album we finished. So we decided we was about to sign a big deal with Atlantic, but when my brother passed, they didn't want to do it anymore. So we just decided to put it out on our own independent label.
No, but when did you start the work on it? Because I know he passed in 2003, but when did you guys start working on it?
Probably like if he died in 2003, we probably started to work on like 2000, between 2021 and 22.
Okay, 2001 and 2. So after you did your solo and GI's producing and stuff, who made the call like guys, let's come back together and do an album? Whose idea was it?
Dino did.
Okay. So he said, let's come back together and do an album. And were you guys all in positions where, we're fine now, we've rested, we're ready to come out with something new?
Most definitely.
Most definitely. Stay ready. Stay ready, most definitely.
Yeah. We anytime I put out any poll that has H-Town in it or any video on our network, everyone, they all talk about Dino, because as you rightly said, that his vocal range and style was very different and very unique. You have somebody like Casey, Little G from Silk. Very few people had distinctive tones in their vocals.
Yeah.
And so he was one of them that, as a lead singer, you could hear a H-Town record, the harmonies and his lead vocal, and there's so many groups that you can't you'd have to be told who was. So for R&B fans, it was such a loss, especially somebody still 28 and stuff. As your brothers and you've been friends and stuff. How was it for you guys as artists, as knowing that our lead singer, and forget the fact that he's your brother and your friend, but the fact that our lead singer has gone? Did you think about quitting and saying that's it?
Yeah, most definitely. At the time, I got to the point I just didn't really want to sing anymore. I was like, well, I'm done with that. I mean, that's like, because I couldn't really see doing H-Town or putting nobody else in my group. So I just went to a stage where I didn't really want to do it anymore. And then GI kind of went more to the internet side, computer side, and the fans would start to reach out to GI like, man, we want y'all to keep singing and we want to hear music and stuff like that. So that would kind of helped us to say, okay, let's just go on. Let's see what happens. So we started doing shows, and the shows started selling out. So we were like, oh, okay, they still loving us.
Yeah.
So we decided to dedicate the show to Dino. So every show is a dedication, a tribute to Dino.
Yeah. But how hard is it, G.I., because I mentioned how powerful a vocalist Dino is. He's very similar to Kenny Green from Intro. So when he passed, it's hard, for the fans to, he's, when you have a raw voice that is very distinctive. So it's hard for fans to sing anyone else. Did the thought ever come, can we get somebody else in that might have a powerful vocal that could sort of complement? Or how did you decide, let's just the two of us just continue?
Well, we decided that to keep it organic, we're just going to sing our own songs, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, we decided to keep it organic. We're going to sing our songs. And, me and G.I., a lot of us on the hits. I had a lot of parts. G.I. had parts. So on mostly our hit records, we had a lot of the members were singing on them. So we decided just to keep our stuff, me and GI, and keep it organic and just we sing our own records. And that's what we've been doing, and we've been winning and still touring all over the world to this day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does it and what's been the response? I've seen stuff on Instagram. I've seen the response, but was it the first time you guys went on stage without Dino? How challenging was that?
I mean, the fans were still there, you know what I'm saying? So I didn't see no pause or anybody disliking the fact that we're still continuing along with just two of us. But yeah, the fans most definitely was still supportive and still showing up at every show and still, you know, getting into the groove on stage with us and, you know, keeping us hyped.
Yeah, you know, and as I
Yeah.
said, it's and I think that's to your credit. You know, it you know a lot of other groups would go and find a third person and
Yeah.
let them sort of take that. But for you guys to stay to the call like that, that has definitely made a difference. You came out with the knocking your heels with and with Jodeci and Pretty Ricky. Now you know I'm trying to do my maths quickly, but there's probably a good 9 guys singing on that track. So a lot of singers coming in with verses and stuff. I, whose idea was to get both of them? Because I would understand if you just said, "Well, we just do a
Well,
duet with."
the record was initially we just did it with Jodeci, but then we
Okay.
just so we just started to do a remix to try to basically
Ah,
join the 90s and the 2000s together. We thought it would be good to join the new millenniums with the 90s, you know what I'm saying? But
okay.
the original song was with H Child and Jodeci, and then the
Okay.
remix is with Pretty Ricky because the tap into that more millennium market.
Okay. 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 Yeah, and then you guys had a recent track with Cut Close as well.
Yeah. Cut
Okay.
Close, Shy. That's on our new album. The new album out, Date Night. Date Night
Yeah.
out right now.
Okay. Do you know what I haven't and I will start pushing that on our channel. So
Yeah.
did you is it available mainly digitally or people can get the physical copy as well?
Was mainly digitally. You can still order a physical copy. They go to Amazon, they can get a physical copy like from Amazon. But we're in a digital world now. But it's in all
Yeah.
the digital stores, Spotify, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right now we have a video out right now. It's called the name of the song is called Super Love. So that's doing really well, over 200 and some thousand, almost 300,000 views. And
Okay.
the video, and we performing that song in a lot of our new shows and stuff like that.
Now, I asked this question to Dalvin because Mr. Dalvin because he's releasing a lot of singles, and the
Mhm.
question is that because the industry has changed, where people aren't buying the records as they used to, we're watching it on YouTube and Spotify. As artists, when you're releasing music digitally, what is the main benefit? Is it to as a way of promoting the fact that we're still around, we're still relevant? Is it a way of um, or are you expecting it to make the money that selling 100,000 or 200,000 albums back in the day used to do? What's the sort of what the benefit of thinking about releasing singles and videos at this point in time?
Well, when it does, it just keeps you relevant. It keeps your name in promoters' mouths. It keeps your name in your fans' mouth. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? So by us dropping stuff, it's also letting people see where H-Town is today. You know, and also showing us where we are today without my brother, that we still holding it down in the memory of him and promoting Dino's legacy to live on. But it's just also just showing what we are today and that we can show that we can make music and make good records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that it makes sense because a lot of us, especially those of our generation who grew up listening to the '90s, um, we're somewhat disillusioned with the music that's pushed on radio and on TV. So we've
Mhm.
sort of switched away, and it wasn't until past the mic and verses Teddy Ram and Babyface, that we started to reconnect with our 90s
Yeah.
stuff. In the UK and around the world, we don't get the 90s tours like they have in America. And after lockdown, every week it's either H-Town, Silk, 112, Keep Sweat, Keep Sweat, Keep Sweat, doing tours in every city. How have you found the sort of I won't say business, but the touring side of things after lockdown? Is it becoming so much more than you expected, or?
Yeah, it's great. It's picking up. We love the tour and being for our fans. So since everything the lockdown was lifted in the United States of America, the shows and stuff the shows been picking up. We've been doing a lot of shows. We've been picking up.
Yep, and we are on our way to London. We'll be in London in December the 10th, most definitely.
Yes, and it's, that's something that, as I said, we've not got many tours from our 90s R&B acts, because every week I look and see you guys touring from South Carolina to Atlanta, all over the place.
Yeah.
So the fact that you guys are going to be coming here will be big.
Yeah.
I've started to put out the word, so a lot of people have pretty much said they're already going to buy, they're already buying their tickets and stuff. So we're definitely going to look forward to that. I know you guys. Do you guys come with? Do you do your tours now with a band and with dancers, or what's your tour like in the States that we might not
Well,
see?
we have a production, so we bring mainly a full-fledged production. Some shows be band dates and some shows just be track dates. We most definitely come with a production. In the States, our dancers and background singers and stuff like that. I don't know if we're gonna have all that in London, because I know that, at the time it got kind of expensive for them, but we will have some treats for them. We'll be singing all the hits for them when we come to London.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, hopefully I'll get to. Unfortunately, when Blackstreet came to perform a couple of months ago, the promoters messed them up. So I met up with them, but they didn't get to perform. But hopefully, you guys do get to perform. I know Cut Close is coming. I'm speaking with Little G from Silk next week, so it'll be good just to see you guys in person afterwards, and just to see you guys. In closing, I always ask my guests, if you guys each question, if you were stuck in an elevator and they told you it'll take about 2 hours before we can get you out, but we'll put a movie on for you. I can start with GI. What movie would you request to watch while they're trying to get you out?
That's a good one. I would say, Thin Line True Love is one of my favorite movies. I still watch that to this day on Netflix, and
Okay.
It's a regular TV series to me. I go back and watch the same movie over and over again. That's one of my favorites.
Okay. What about you, Shazam?
I probably would tell them to put Michael Jackson, This Is It on.
Okay.
Is that considered a movie?
Well, well, yeah, yeah. I mean, ideally, most people talk about their favorite movie that they, like mine and Schindler's List. Yeah.
I would say my favorite movie would be Coming to America, Part 1.
Oh, the first one. Okay.
The first one.
The first one. Okay. Now, the second question is that if they're about to put the movie, but they say, let's play a song before the movie starts. So what's your favorite song? G.I., what's your sort of go-to song by any artist?
My go-to right now is Boot Up by she's from London too. LMA.
Okay, LMA, okay.
Boot Up from LMA. That's my go-to song right now.
Okay, but your all-time favorite track though? What's your all-time favorite track?
All time?
Yeah.
Growing. I mean, men to men. From boys to men. End of the road.
End of the road. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what about you, Shazam? What's your all-time favorite track?
Smooth Criminal. by Michael Jackson.
Okay. Wow.
Ooh.
Smooth Criminal. Okay. That's. I mean, as my all-time favorite is "The Lady in My Life" by Michael Jackson. I wish
That's a
he
good
came
one.
out with.
That's a good
We,
one.
I wish he came out with a video for that. But yeah, no, it's been definitely great. Hearing from you guys, it's been definitely great. Sort of
Most definitely.
check you know giving the fans a sense of your sort of your journey and the backstory. I think
Mhm.
one of the things we never knew is why you sort of put out and the your ladies edition. We didn't see
Yeah.
much from you, and then and why the gap between the last album and stuff. So that's
Yeah.
really good. But as I said, it's and I always wondered why you guys didn't get another singer, but it's great the fact that you've seen the fact that because you guys are the two original members of the group, and it wasn't as if you guys were just the background singers. You guys had parts in the song, so there's
Yes.
confidence to sing as well, and stuff. And I think finally it's good to hear when artists like yourselves are still putting out records, but you're using it as a way of keeping your name out there, making and making people not forget that you guys
Most
are around
definitely.
and stuff. So I appreciate the time. I think it they'll come. We'll put this to edit it and put it out on the channel in a week
Okay.
or so. But hopefully, as I said, I'll reach out before you guys come to the UK. I live an hour outside
Okay.
of London, but I'll make sure that I can get to meet up with you guys when you do make it down to
Most definitely.
London and stuff. Yeah, so
Okay,
appreciate it.
man.
So
Thanks for
Date Night
having
is
us.
out now. Are we expecting any more singles from it? And
We actually we're actually probably about to go into production to work on the deluxe date night. We did an EP. We did about doing the deluxe album, adding like 4 more new songs to the date night. So we probably be starting on that real soon.
okay,
The
okay.
date night deluxe.
Okay, okay. And then for the American audience who are going to be watching it in the new year, what can they expect from you guys come 2022?
More touring.
Uh,
More touring.
yeah, a lot of you see a lot of touring, lot of touring, man. We still got a lot of places to hit because we didn't really tour none last year. So this year is just starting to get back right. But I'm gonna say a lot of touring, man.
Wow. Are you both still living in Houston?
Most
Yes.
definitely.
Okay, okay, okay. And if there are any artists that we should be listening to that's still new or stuff, what would you suggest? You know, somebody that's just come out within the last 5 years.
I would say like Summer Walker. I like Summer Walker. She's pretty dope.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. And Sam, any new upcoming artists that you'd recommend?
Um, I would say her, Ella
Yeah.
May. I'm loving Ella May. I'm loving her. Um, and it's this guy named Given. Giveon, I think.
Okay, okay, yeah,
Yeah, I think I'm pronouncing his name right.
yeah,
He has a
yeah.
really nice voice. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, I definitely appreciate everything, and as I said,
Thanks for
I'll
having us.
it's been great, and yeah, it's about 11:30 here at night, but it's been great
Okay.
to be able to have this other conversation. But as I said, hopefully we'll see you guys in 4 weeks when you come down to the UK.
Most
Okay, most
definitely.
definitely. All
Okay,
right. Amen. Peace.
thanks very
Much
much, guys.
love.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye. Thanks for watching. Please remember to subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, to press the notification bell so that you can be notified when we do have a new interview. Loads to come, but thanks a lot for watching.